So the heart of humanity. And this really is such an interesting topic. The desire of humanity. We see that throughout history. Human desire has driven innovation, exploration, relationships. In the core, human desires was to explore, to have a relationship, and to create. And these three topics are really critical, even if you don't realize it. Those are at the heart of all humanity. You see that in engineers. You see that in kids. You can see that in the heart of kids, boy or girl, whenever they create. A boy playing with Legos, or a girl playing with dolls, playing tea time, playing house. These are relationships that are desired. And because of those relationships, we grow and develop as humans. Because of that drive to invent, we discover new things and new technologies and put down new foundations to lengthen life. The drive to discover pushes us to new heights and new expansions, to where we can touch the stars themselves. These were laid in our hearts at the very beginning of creation. God created this world, and we can see that in our hearts. That's all we just have to look at human hearts to understand that. Those three drives, understand that. Because those would be some of God's fingerprints in us. The drive to discover. That was born out of a drive to know God. That drive to discover this world, to see everything that is here. The drive to explore and expand, and then the drive to invent and understand the creation and understand this world. And then the drive for relationships. That's truly at the heart of the Bible, and you can see that from the beginning to the end, this drive of a relationship, where both the Old Testament and the New Testament come hand in hand and walk beside each other. They truly are two parts of one continuous narrative. Beforehand, it was looking forward to this ability to have this relationship with God. You saw that in some glimpses of Moses and of King David. You saw that in the prophets, their relationship with God. You saw that in the people themselves, the judges, their relationships with God. Yes, they were not clean. Yes, they screwed up. Yes, King David, even though he's called a man after God's own heart, he is also described as a man who screws up a lot. He murdered. He had sex out of marriage. He did horrendous things, yet would always repent and come before God. And then you see through the line of David, you see the coming of the Christ. And because of the coming of the Christ, we see the promise fulfilled. And we see the ability to have that relationship, that drive originally installed in us at creation, and come to fruition through Jesus Christ. What we screwed up, he fixed. Because of our decisions, our rebellion against God, we turned our backs on that relationship and was left without it. But now that Christ has come, we can come and see God face to face. We can be in relationship with him. We no longer need to be separated. And you can see that in the heart. Even in atheist hearts, they're always searching for God. They truly are. You can see that. In some way, deists still, even though they will not accept Jesus Christ or agree with Christianity, they still are searching for a God. Everyone searches for that. Even if you replace it with an idol of some sort. Some people replace it with sports. Some people replace it with their job. Some people replace it with relationships with other people. And in truth, each of those will be destroyed. Each of those will be decayed and will betray you. Sports, your team won't do that good. Someone will make a trade that you don't agree with. Your team will not make the playoffs. Something like that will happen. And you will be let out. You'll be disappointed in your God. In the same way, relationships end. Human relationships are limited. They're mere fractions of what we're intended to have. We're intended to have this relationship with Christ that we build and it lasts for eternity. But human relationships are fragile things, often destroyed at the first bump in the road. Those of us who have the grit and decide, no matter what, we are going to make this relationship work, find that it is a terrible amount of work. It's worth it, but it's a lot of work. And you can't just give up when the road gets bumpy. You can't just surrender whenever it gets hard for a moment. You have to grit down, lock it in, and push through it. And in that, we feel that small fulfillment in that part in our hearts that desire that relationship. But even in that, it's so lacking. That relationship with God is so much more than that. It's so much more mind-blowingly awesome than that is. When you get the opportunity to actually work in ministry and see God work and see miracles and see healing and see speaking in tongues and see all these amazing things. And to understand that, yes, it's not about me. I might be the one here praying for someone that then the prayers get answered, but it's not because I wanted it. It's because I was willing to play a small part in what God's plan was. And then there's that fulfillment of that relationship. The fulfillment of discovery, to see what God is doing. And that fulfillment to take part in what truly is the point of this entire human existence. Those three aspects of the human heart, are fingerprints of God. And point directly to the relationship spoken throughout the Old and New Testament in one continuous story. Thank you guys for joining us. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's continue to the next topic.